Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the very first installment of a series that I intend to be a rather long-running one. It is The Endgame. My name is Link Inverse, and we are here in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. There's no particular reason why I chose this game to be the first in the series, it's just the one that I've been playing most recently. Well, I guess that is a reason, isn't it? It's not a... I suppose it's not a nuanced reason or a detailed reason, it just happens to be something that I've been playing more frequently, and I'm probably also correct in suggesting that not as many people are playing this game emulated at the moment. Even though you can't actually play online on the actual physical 3DS anymore, the barrier to entry for emulating this game is quite severe, I would say. Anything that requires, downloading an emulator that is no longer being supported by the people who originally distributed the emulator probably is a barrier to entry, and I would say that one could characterize the whole traditional Monster Hunter series qua difficult to get into. The reason being that it's not on modern platforms. There really is, in most cases, a sort of requirement that you are ingratiated into the series. You get a friend who happens to be into Monster Hunter and maybe wants someone to play with, or perhaps supposes that you might be interested and will put the effort in to really get you on board. These are really the circumstances in which people will be brought into these games. This is going to be me playing the game not as a new player, obviously. I'm a fairly experienced hunter. I've been playing since Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and I will be playing on a character that is indeed Endgame. That is obviously the origin of the title of this series, The Endgame. It's intended to illustrate what you're going to watch while tuning in. It's essentially going to be me playing with a character that doesn't have much more to do in terms of progressing through the game, or in terms of, building itself, whether it's arms sets, whether it's completing different quests. It's pretty much all done. So what's left once you've done all that? The reality is hunting for fun. A big part of hunting for fun obviously requires a well-built character. That is, in my opinion, essential, because one thing that you're really going to notice when you're just hunting for fun and nothing else is the need for variety. Now, variety is going to require a well-built character, because you're going to be wanting to choose whatever weapon you want for whatever situation that may arise when you are joining people's random hunts, or just, whatever people want to do. So, yeah, I'd say there's a distinction to be drawn between hunting in the endgame with random people and hunting in the endgame with friends. This is going to be the former rather than the latter. Now, I'm going to probably bring up both screens here just so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm connected to the Citra emulator. Well, technically not. I'm about to be connected to the online. I'm going to try and show this to you. It's quite a process. I think I can share this. Here we go. Yeah, I'll try to make this as visible as I can. I'll probably block the game a little bit. But this room browser, which is not something that you can automatically access, keep in mind that if you get the Citra emulator, you will not automatically have access to this. You will need to put in like a different IP address in an initialization file. I'm sure the tutorial is around there somewhere. If you really can't find it, then just ask me in the comments and I will try to provide you with something of a tutorial. Don't expect, extended support from Link on this matter. I'm not really the type to give all that much help. I mean, interestingly enough, the very first recording that I did on this channel was a tutorial video, but guess what? That was my first and only tutorial video that I ever did, so there is a reason why. I tend to focus more on just playing the game rather than trying to, help everyone along, trying to ferry everyone into the game so that I can play with them. I don't know if that makes me a bad person or what, but yeah, if you really don't know how to get this, I'm happy to help at least in some small part. So, I'm just going to be going through these random rooms here. Here is the first one. This is, or rather the first one that I have found where people are playing Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I'm going to double click that, and that's going to actually put me into the session. Now, I will have a chat which I'm not going to share with you just yet. I mean, I may not share it at all, to be honest with you. But I'm currently in that session, and unfortunately I'm hitting retry, and I'm not actually able to get anyone, or anyone's room to appear. Now, there may be, well, usually there's two reasons for this. A, they haven't made a room yet, or B, the session is a little bit glitched out. You can actually have sessions in-game, as opposed to in the emulator, which is what I'm successfully connected to people within the emulator itself. But when it comes to in-game, you can actually have sessions that are glitched out and need to be recreated in order for people to successfully join. So what I'm going to do is actually move on to another room, which hopefully exists. Here we go. Kex's public room. You're always encouraged to join the Discord channels that are advertised in these rooms, by the way. It may be helpful to communicate with people beyond the Citra emulator. The reason being that they may not actually be engaging in the Citra emulator chat. It can be extremely frustrating when people don't do that. So make your life easier and try to communicate on the Discord as well, if you can. The Great McJagger, unfortunately, is a room that I'm not actually permitted to join. So I'm going to have to move on. There's a French room with one person sitting in it. There is also a person sitting alone in there. Really not very good. Not very good options. You can see that there are a number of people playing for Ultimate, but the only option I have that's quite solid are people playing in high rank. And I suppose I could give them a try. Yeah, let's just do that. In the end, it's going to be more sustainable for a live stream than just, you know, joining a room with one person in it, hoping that they're actually around, maybe waiting for them to get ready. Fortunately, everyone here is HR7. Whenever I join a room that has people who are HR7, I always find myself a little concerned, a little perturbed, because they might be themselves helping a low-rank person or something like that, or perhaps the room host who is HR7 is helping someone through. Now, there's nothing wrong with helping people, I'm just saying that in the context of doing a live stream, it's not really ideal for me to be using an endgame character while hunting with people in high rank or low rank. My preference is very much to play in G rank. That's just a fun fact. I'm sure some people may even take issue with that. I'm perfectly happy to help people in the game. It's just that I don't want to be almost downgrading my loadouts so that I'm not trivializing the confrontation for the people that I'm playing with in high rank or low rank. I will make an exception for HR7 because they are at the end of high rank. I don't really mind speeding up the very final leg of the journey through high rank for these people. But, yeah, in addition to that, I also want to be able to have longer hunts, more substantial hunts to share with all of you. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get my live stream up and my chats. I've not been engaging with the chat because I'm just trying to do an introduction to the live stream. I hope that that's viewed as acceptable. Yay, I'm getting an ad on my own live stream because I'm not actually logged in, but that's alright. For some reason, on the live stream dashboard, the chat is not automatically visible. Because it's been updated, you see. They've actually updated the live streaming dashboard to not automatically include the chat. Now, if you want to know what a fucking improvement is, that's an improvement. Giving me less information with which to conduct my live stream. That's really helpful. Thanks, guys. I mean, you're really improving the experience. I don't even know where the chat is. It's literally gone. I'm sure it's here. I have little doubt that it's here. But I can't even see it. I mean, I can see it on my mobile, but... anyway, hello, Hossein. I don't know who else has tuned in, but... my intention was to actually bring up the chat that would have been open from the beginning on my computer. But it's not even here. So let's not worry too much about it. I can see that these guys are not really in a rush to do anything. Quaver fast. and Yarlets have not moved since I've joined the room, so they themselves do not appear to be in a rush. Subaru is hanging around with a full Golrathian set and seeking to do more Golrathian than he already has, which is fine, just doesn't really bode well for me, because he may want to grind. And grinding is something that I will try to avoid in this series. There is obviously scope for grinding content. It's just that if I'm grinding something, it means you're seeing the same monster over and over again, which means it's a little too repetitious for this series, at least by my standards. If I have to clear my throat a lot, I do apologize. It's because I was sick recently and had lost my voice, so not to be, excessively graphic, but I do have a bit of phlegm that I need to clear from time to time. The beverage today is Junmai Nihonshu. I do have a predilection for Junmai sake, and this one is a fairly standard one. It's a Gekkeikan. So Gekkeikan is probably the easiest Junmai sake that you can find in Australia, and I am from Australia, by the way, in case that were not obvious. It's generally not obvious to many people, but I am from that country. Okay, so Rome and Peaberry are here as well. Hey guys. Again, sorry about the chat. It's just as well that I didn't open it at the start, otherwise what would have been my introduction would have instead turned into me complaining about Twitch being largely non-functional. And as welcome as these rants may be to many of you, I don't really want the first live stream that I'm doing in this series to be marred, at least not initially, by rants of that nature. I don't know what the hell these guys are doing. Remember when I said that this would be the ideal room for me to join out of all of the ones that you had seen? Well, this is quickly turning into very much the opposite of what I was describing in that moment. We've got every single person here AFK. It's a little bit of a sharp contradistinction to what you would experience in, say, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, where the people playing that game are going to be crawling inside your anus to get you to depart as quickly as humanly possible, whereas these people, fucking hell, maybe they're all blazed out or something. I don't know. What I can say is that I'm slightly frustrated by it. It has to be said that I had already made a concession by joining this room, and I have not been rewarded in any way. So let's try somewhere else. I'm going to just drop a little comment in the Citra chat. Words to the effect of, "This is about as AFK as it gets." I'm gonna, not even words to the effect. That is literally what I'm going to type. Well, that's rather unseemly. I just snorted into the microphone. I never do that. I'm sure that for those of you who've watched me for years, I never do that, and I'm sure that you can agree. For those of you who have not watched me for years, you're just going to have to take my word for it. What I've said is, this is about as AFK as it gets, folks. I don't know why I'm cracking up at my own comments, but I'm glad that my jollification has not in any way been curtailed as a result of, quite frankly, awful options being presented to me when I'm trying to live stream, but yeah, just as fucking well. I'm still in Valhalla, obviously, in-game. I've only disconnected from the online session. Let's try again. We're going to go back through the list. So these guys, I may try and communicate with them and see if they can possibly open a room for me. Perhaps, unhelpfully, I'm going to ask what rank... You know what? I'm not even going to ask what rank they are. No, I should. Because if they're like HR1, I'm not playing with them. So I have to establish that first before I rather awkwardly request for them to remake the room. This is one of the problems with Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. It's that if you have a glitched out room, which is extremely common, you actually need to rely on the inclusivity of the people in the room that you're joining. You actually need them to create another room just for you. Just for you. It's almost uprooting them and then replanting. I really shouldn't be dithering in this way. I need to immediately establish what rank they are. Hey guys, what rank are you hunting at? For those of you who have a preference for immediate hunts, I suppose there's always the option to skip ahead until I'm hunting, but for those of you who want to actually see the real, unadulterated experience, this is it. This is me trying to hunt with random people. I can assure you that sometimes it will be as seamless and smooth and, difficulty-free as possible, but then on other days and in other circumstances it can be very much the opposite. At least I have Jun my sake. See, this is the problem. If they don't respond to me when I ask this question, it makes things even more awkward. Yeah, I guess that's an option, Peaberry. Well, it's not really. I'm not going to be doing edits after the fact. People can always skip ahead if they want. I can assure you that people do not need any encouragement from me to skip through something they don't want to watch. They definitely don't need any encouragement. I'm going to go back through my list, see if there's another option. That's the AFK room. I do realise that you're not able to see the list. I'm becoming mildly pissed off. I may actually have to play a different game. I may have to play 3 Ultimate. There was a 3 Ultimate room, literally one, but... Oh no, there's 2 people playing 4 Ultimate here. This is I'm going to show you this. This is slightly disorderly. Come on, yes. Look at it. I mean, we've got 2 people playing 3 Ultimate and 2 people playing 4 Ultimate in this room. Now, I'd be happy to wait for these guys to eventually respond and then potentially make me a room if I was actually playing in my own time, but I'm making an attempt to, albeit largely unsuccessfully, conduct a live stream, so I don't really have the patience to speak to those people. Oh, thank God we've got a room, but do you know what? I'm not even going to explain my relief to all of you. I feel that I needn't describe it. I needn't take you on that journey. Oh look, there's the chat. It looks like they're actually moving over to 4 Ultimate, because previously there was 2 people playing 3 Ultimate, now they're all coming back to 4 Ultimate. That's kind of cool, isn't it? I'll bring up the bottom screen again. I wish that there were a better transition here, but there isn't. Blame OBS. Oh, that's right, I'm on the wrong side of the screen. I've been on the wrong side of the screen since the start. This is just... Oh, hello. If you wanted to see more of me, you're seeing more of me. I didn't intend for that. Alright. Everything is just, not going to plan. Alright. What? What the fuck, man? That's not what I wanted. Now I have to try and get myself to the same size that I was. Okay, so what I intended to do was not to make myself full screen, it was to flip myself horizontally. Okay, this is much better, and I'm going to make myself a little smaller. I don't need to be that big. Well... okay. Let's... I don't even know what I'm doing now. No, that's not what we want. Okay, am I happy with that? No. Slightly bigger. That's what we want. If I hold shift, does that... It does keep the aspect ratio if I hold shift, thank God for that. I'm glad that we're all keeping to a standard around here, OBS. Anyway, you can see we've got a very similar arrangement to last time. We've got some people who are just coming into G rank. I'm happy to say that I have actually helped a lot of people just in the very beginning of G rank. It's incredible when I think how many groups of people I've actually helped, because that means there's lots of lives that I've touched. I mean, obviously in 15 years of playing Monster Hunter, I've involved myself in a lot of people's journey through the ranks of various games, but it does strike me as interesting just how many people I've involved myself with on the Citra servers, just going through the early G rank of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. It's been enjoyable in some ways, but also slightly monotonous in others. I'm always happy to provide this sort of enjoyment that quite frankly cannot be experienced anywhere else. Just mini-me waving. Yeah, that was like quite a sudden... Oh, I hate how my hair looks right now. Would you believe me if I said that my hair was much more nicely shaped when I began the live stream? Or when I began setting up the live stream? Now it's just fucking straight. It's like a mop. Ugh. Can I just say, like, if you've got long hair like mine, not everyone's got hair like mine. There are lots of different types of hair in this world. If you've got hair like mine, that's naturally quite straight, let me tell you, bedhead works wonders. It just gives it a nice fucking shape. It's just... it's what you want. This is not what I like. But anyway, that's hair-related concerns, which quite frankly most of you are not concerned about. These guys have been on this quest since, well, about 7 minutes ago. Hopefully they'll be back soon. It's incredible, isn't it? I may or may not make an edit in the VOD. I mean, we'll find out. If I do, then... yeah, I'm sure it'll be immediately noticeable. But, no, I think for the first recording, I'll just keep it just raw. Let's just do it. Here we are, getting a room together in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. This is the experience. I think in future recordings I will edit through just for your viewing pleasure. But if you haven't found this pleasurable so far, this may not be the series or the channel for you. Because this is it, ladies and gentlemen. It's me crapping on about things while trying to get a room together. That's how it feels for me, anyway. Well, Hossein can play, it seems, but annoyingly there's no space in this room. I do have a viewer who may be able to join me, who I would presume to be G-Rank, but let's just see how this room pans out first. It's very odd, that fourth guy who is actually still in 3 Ultimate. We did see originally that there were 2 people in 3 Ultimate. Now one of them's in 4 Ultimate, but it seems the final guy is still hanging on. He's still playing 3 Ultimate. Do you know what? It is getting to the point where I may actually make an edit. This is becoming a little bit ridiculous. Slightly too absurd for me to even indulge myself in. So, I will, I'll be back momentarily. And we are finally back. I'm really glad that I decided to make an edit because it has been about 15 to 20 minutes since I made that decision. We have joined many rooms, we have toiled for some time, looking for people to play with. I finally found people, and they have actually been having connectivity issues as well, so it would be really untoward if after all this time I finally get a group together and we just disconnect. Oh god, why is one of the felines over there? That doesn't bode well. What sort of... oh no, that's a Poogie. Why is there a Poogie over there? I've never seen this before. Yeah, the stream has been live for 38 minutes and I still haven't gotten in a hunt. It's quite extraordinary. I don't know why this is happening. Oh, fuck me sideways. Have you ever seen a Poogie here? Has anyone seen a Poogie here before? Because this is a new experience for me. I don't know. At first I thought it was someone's cat, and perhaps that someone was having connectivity issues. And that was why their cat was all the way over there. But no, this is a Poogie, which is unreachable. I would love to go over there and give you some attention, but I'm unable to. Hold on, Kingwell. I need to make sure that I've actually got my ammunition. I do not have my ammunition. Please give me just a moment to purchase it. Just a moment. is all I need. I don't expect that I'll need combination materials for it. The loadout that I'm using, which I've decided to keep with, this is what I had equipped from the last time I was playing the game. So when I loaded into the game, I already had this loadout. I probably should have shown you it. But, well, I suppose I can still do that when I'm in the hunt. But it is a Pierce set, and it is a rapid-fire Pierce set, because it's a light bowgun. I mean, I wouldn't use a light bowgun to shoot Pierce unless I was taking advantage of the uniquely light bowgun-esque ability. I shouldn't even say esque. The ability that is unique to the light bowgun, which is rapid firing. I have ended up in the secret area, but I do not really at this stage feel inclined to actually gather there. I almost can't believe we're playing the game. It has taken me so long to get here, but we're finally here. I'm not going to use my element, Y-Stone, and I shouldn't need to explain why not. I do need to monitor the game volume. It needs to be a little bit louder, but this is a very dangerous moment in which to make any adjustments to the live stream. Yes, okay. This attack that he does, really weirdly, does not exist in any game after this one. Well, I can't speak for 5th gen. I don't even know if he's in 5th gen, to be completely honest with you. But, very strangely, that downward firing laser beam, fire laser, whatever you want to call it, is not something that he does in Generations or Generations Ultimate. I don't really know how that's possible. The reason why I'm not taking advantage of the knockdown is because I'm raising the game volume, because it's very quiet. Yes, that's fine. I hope these guys aren't paying attention to what I'm doing, because I'm essentially doing nothing. I'm now going to start doing something, but yeah. For once, I'm really glad for verticality, because that prevented me from being hit, or allowed me to avoid being hit. Okay, apparently Gravius was not brought into 5th generation. To be honest, not a huge loss. Just for the record, because this is a new series on a new channel, I don't play 5th generation at all. You are not going to see 5th generation in this series at all. I actually don't even know if Monster Hunter Wilds is 5th generation or 6th generation. To be honest, I don't really care, because I don't think I'm going to be playing that game either. That could always change. These sorts of things are always subject to change, but look, it's unlikely that I'm going to play that game. Unless there is a very, very compelling reason for me to play it. And that compelling reason is accompanied by endorsements from people who definitely know what I appreciate in a Monster Hunter game. I'm not going to play it. And yeah, I'm perfectly content to continue playing the first 4 generations of Monster Hunter. You know, the amount of entertainment that one can get out of the first 4 generations of Monster Hunter is, quite frankly, like, limitless. So I do not need to play 5th generation Monster Hunter. I don't feel like I'm going to be missing out. But it does have to be said that I have every expectation that people will ask me, "Are you playing Wilds? What do you think about it?" etc, etc. Perfectly reasonable questions, but I just want to, you know, preempt those questions by saying, I'm not playing it, and I don't play 5th gen in general, so there you have it. It is not an invitation for me to go into a rant about why I don't like 5th gen, but suffice it to say, it's not for me. Oh, hello, Ethan. Okay, so apparently, according to Ethan... Oh, I need to... Just when I was about to say that I need to equip my... or perhaps use my Y-Stone, I managed to very heavily flinch the monster. I had accidentally locked onto the monster as well. That's a feature that I don't make use of. I don't know why you would, really. Lock on. If you guys ever see me perform a lock on, there's something severely wrong, and you should ask if I'm okay. Just to be really clear. Okay. I am not concerned at all about this team being unable to knock this monster out of Apex mode, because I'm using Piers. Which obviously opens the door to a level of DPS that is not going to struggle whatsoever with knocking a monster out of Apex mode. There is actually an open slot in this room. It's a good point, Peaberry. So, Hossein, it is Kex's public room number 8. Kex's public room number 8. There was a wayward soul from Double Cross just randomly joining this room. That's something that you get all the time. I have made mention of that before, you know, people in Double Cross constantly joining for ultimate rooms and then leaving immediately as if they can't check to see what people are playing before they join. The reality is that they may not be able to. Maybe in the mobile version of Citra, you can't you can't check before joining, which would be ridiculous. But if I'm minded to give those people the benefit of the doubt, then that's probably the explanation for why you constantly get random double-cross people joining for ultimate sessions. Well, I shouldn't say sessions, just joining the rooms, even though they should realistically be able to check before they join. It's only double-cross people. It's not like you get it with 3 ultimate people. Maybe they're just intellectually superior in 3 ultimate, who knows. It's a very intimidating walk that he does. It's not as intimidating as the Black Gravios walk, though. The Black Gravios walk, you are probably in line for a good smacking if Black Gravios is walking towards you in that fashion. That was a very quick knockdown. You must have Mounting Master or Rodeo God or something like that. But thanks for waiting, Hosing. He's actually holding off on joining the room in case he causes a disconnect. Which is very true. I mean, as unfortunate and almost unrealistic as that sounds, you know, as if he's being over cautious. No. These things can happen. It doesn't take much to cause a disconnect in 4 Ultimate. To be honest, it's sort of like water over a duck's back for me, because I'm from the ad hoc days playing Freedom Unite. That was bad. My connectivity, and I was in Australia as well, just to be very clear. We've been living in the fucking 19th century. Yes, I am being that hyperbolic. I mean, like, the 1800s. We were living in the 1800s in terms of internet, up until, like, I don't know, 2016, 2017, so, yeah. The ad hoc days for me were probably more miserable than they were for the average person. So, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Oh. I forgot to remove the bottom screen. Someone didn't notice. It was Peaberry. Let's all point at him and scream at him for not mentioning it. Well, none of you mentioned it, actually, so you're all to blame. Certainly not me, the broadcaster. It's not my fault, it's you. It's your fault for not managing the standards of my livestream. Again, Geke Kanjun Maisake. I do have obviously a green screen active, so it's taking all the green out of it. Do you know what? For purposes of demonstration, I think we all need to have the green screen, or rather the chroma key, removed just for a moment so that we can all appreciate how lovely this label is. Geke kan Junmai Nihonshu. That is our beverage for today. And, yeah. Now, leaving the bottom screen up is not that much of a faux pas, but could you imagine if I left my chroma key, like, disabled? That would be so profoundly, so manifestly inappropriate that I think you'd all be screaming at me if I did that. So there are gradations of misconduct. There are gradations of impropriety. You know, if I did that, I feel like even if you were listening to me and not watching, you would know, and you would get in contact. Hello, Rome. Rome is also apologizing, by the way. He hasn't said anything since the start of the live stream, and he's actually like getting in contact to apologize. So, cheers to that. Yeah, that'd be good. Imagine if I left myself, like, full screen. Like this. This right here. Oh, great. So it looks like Kingwill and Anosk are both eating for 10 minutes. Look at that. It must be said that that Hossein has saved the day, because he's here. He is Paul, by the way. Paul, in-game, is a viewer, whereas there he is, over that way. Where'd that Poogie go? Anyway, he has saved the day. We're going to do one quick hunt while both Kingwall and Anosk spend 10 minutes eating. I don't know if they live together or what. Maybe they're siblings or something like that. Some sort of very unusual arrangement, like, I don't know, sibling relation. I don't know. What's a quick hunt that we can do that will be fun? That's the key. Maybe I should be looking in G1 for something like that. How about a, like a weird subspecies? Do we have a weird subspecies? I know. Drill Tusk Tetsu... Not Drill Tusk, sorry. Berserk Tetsukabra. Sorry. As you can see, Hossein is waving to the audience. I expect you all to wave back now. Although it's a little late, isn't it? Yeah, so not Drill Tusk. If we were hunting a Drill Tusk, there would be many questions that would need to be raised, although they probably wouldn't be answered very acceptably. And, yeah, so we're not doing that. We are, in fact, doing Berserk Tetsukabra. I forgot what his elemental weaknesses are. I probably should inform myself of this. Oh, the Poogie is sleeping under his immenseness. I should have guessed that AJ would have the details to hand. What am I doing? I am checking the armor of Berserk Tetsukabra to see what his primary weakness is. It is ice. I don't know how you could possibly expect me to remember something like that. For such an insignificant and largely unimportant monster. How could you expect me to memorize the weakness, really? Do I have an ice elemental charge blade? I don't know why I feel like using an elemental charge blade. What the hell is this? What on earth is this? That's unupgraded, isn't it? Am I in the process of upgrading this? I must be. Well, let me have a look at my relic charge blades, just to start with. Because I do have some that I have yet to polish. Okay. Yeah, so let's see if we can upgrade this further. Why am I naked? Oh, that's why I'm naked. It's because I didn't actually select an armor set. No, it is fully upgraded. Wow. Okay, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I need to get some more Mega Demon drugs so I can do more attack honing on my weapons, but guess what? I'm a bit too lazy to do that at this particular moment. I'm sure I'll be forgiven, because I have actually spent about 40 minutes trying to get into a room. Alright. A very wide charge blade, it has to be said. Very wide. We are very for ultimate at the moment. Paul and I. He is Insect Glaive and I am Charge Blade. I'm sure I'll be able to find... Yeah, there we go. Apparently, my Charge Blade collection makes Ethan's PP hard. Well, this is the sort of service that I provide. He is now lamenting the absence of Charge Blade in games prior to Monster Hunter 4. Yeah, people get like that. Charge Blade players are so obsessive that they would want Charge Blade in the older games as well. I want Monster Hunter 1 Charge Blade. Well, you wouldn't want Monster Hunter 1 Charge Blade. You know, that's the one game that I won't take you through, Ethan. I will not take you. Well, to start with, I probably wouldn't subject you to it. If I had any intention of subjecting you to first-gen Monster Hunter, I probably would have done it already with Freedom 1, but I haven't. I certainly wouldn't take you through Monster Hunter 1. But, yeah, pretty much the only person that I can play Monster Hunter with among all of you is AJ. There's no one else. There's no one else crazy enough to play that game. But, anyway. AJ confirms that in Monster Hunter 4, as opposed to 4 Ultimate, the Charge Blade is complete arse. Which is a shame. Why do you feel like too big? This is a really large Berserk Tetsukabra, I think. I could be wrong, but he just... Whatever expectations I had for the size of this monster when engaging it have just been completely dashed. Or rather, my expectations do not cohere with the reality. I swear, as soon as I go for that... Ooh, never mind. Just as I was about to say, as soon as I go for that weak point, it disappears, and then it reappeared, so... That completely invalidated the comment that I was going to make before I could even finish making it. Maybe I just shouldn't talk at all. Oh, got a paralysis. Well, that was a nice bounce. Why on earth do you suppose I would be bouncing with white sharpness on a Tetsukabra? I understand that you're a subspecies, but that's a bit excessive. Ooh, I'm sorry if this is going to interrupt your mount, it's almost certain to do so. But, I had already begun my SAED before I saw that you were mounting, so... I suspect that you will forgive me. If you don't forgive me, then... I really don't know what more I can say. Ooh. Ooh. I thought that maybe I'd be able to maneuver myself underneath him to avoid that attack, but that obviously was not going to work. That became clear very quickly. I'm just monitoring the volume, that's why I'm standing here taking hits stupidly. I'm a little bit paranoid about less than ideal volume after my Dragon Quest Swords livestream on the Doomlink channel before. Obviously it was helpful for it to be loud every now and again just for dialogue purposes, but god, I left it on really loud for the whole livestream, and quite frankly that was too much. That I was properly being drowned out, in my opinion, for much of that livestream. I will not repeat the issue. Not in Monster Hunter, and certainly not in that game again. But anyway. Doomlink griping about his own inability to set ideal audio levels in his livestream. Really, I have no business underperforming in that regard. Not with my level of experience. Can you get the hell out of my way? I'm referring, of course, to the rather obstructive Rhinopolis. Ooh. I mean, it is both an excellent time for a paralysis and a very inopportune time for a paralysis, because I'm now having to do an SAED with less than maximum sharpness, but whatever. I suppose I technically didn't have to, but it's hard to give up the opportunity, you know. Ooh, don't... He almost interrupted that. Well, I don't really want to do an AED, AJ. Like, I'm a little bit, what's the phrase, unga bunga? When it comes to Charge Blade. I just want to do my SAEDs, man. Particularly in this game, you have to understand that most of my Charge Blade experience, relatively speaking, is in Generations Ultimate, where it is ill-advised to do SAEDs, because they're shit. So, you know, I'm basically SAED only in this game. Probably not the most dynamic approach to Charge Blade, but can't have everything. I can't be fiercely talented with all weapon types in Monster Hunter. But anyway. Yeah, I definitely make use of axe mode a lot more frequently with the red shield in Double Cross. What? That was rather dangerous. All right, well, just for you. Well, no. So, what's the AED in red shield? You said it's like I need to hold back on the left analog stick. Is that right? So press X while holding back. Okay. Let me just remind myself what X is on a Nintendo controller. You can see both on screen and also on my controller I don't have X. It's yes, I remember now. Okay. Should be able to do this. Let's do it. Fuck off, man. Just as I'm trying to do it. This is beyond frustrating. Well, I suppose I can demonstrate it now, can't I? Yeah, cool. Is it necessary to spam X, or can I just... like, what's the timing with hitting it? I guess spamming it's fine. I mean, that's pretty much how I play Monster Hunter anyway, just button mashing all over the place. Alright, well that's always acceptable. I feel like this monster would be dead by now if I wasn't mucking about with the game, but anyway. Oh. Good night. I don't think these people are back yet, by the way. Just as an update for those of you who have just tuned in, we do have 4 people in this room, but they've both decided to go and eat at the same time. I haven't even eaten today, so I don't know what they're playing at. Apparently you don't really need a spam triangle. It's triangle in my case. But don't fear not, I remembered that it was triangle. I have played enough Nintendo games to not completely forget the button layout. Actually, I do have my Wii U gamepad on my table over there, so I can always survey that if I'm unsure. Gives me great pleasure to kill Renopolis, I have to say. For anyone who played Tri, yeah. You will probably have an almost visceral contempt for those monsters. Whoa. Got some Berserk Tetsukabra materials, which will come in mighty handy, he said sarcastically. +1 constitution. Oh, you're probably reacting to the talisman. It's very interesting. Like, I'm only going based on the circumstance. Like, if you're saying +1 constitution, you must have been referring to a talisman, but I completely, I just automatically saw it and junked it. Didn't even absorb the information, if that makes sense. It did not soak into my brain. King Will is back. What about your friend? Your sibling, we have theorized. Oh. Well, I wouldn't quite describe that as being back. That's more like disconnecting. Why have they both disconnected from the session? Well, I know why. It's because they both, if they're siblings, right, they would have the same internet. So maybe they've both had the same connectivity spike. And consequently, They've both disconnected. That's somewhat entertaining, but also rather worrying. Shall we remake the hall? Like, what the fuck are these guys doing? Yeah, we'll remake the hall. I almost said it to him in all caps, just as he was actually interacting with the chat. He has finally interacted with the chat, by the way. He's not just speaking in, speaking in game. But I suspect that if I had sent that message in all caps, that may have disillusioned him about using the chat, or even communicating with me at all. I may as well. Oh, this is a risky enterprise. I'm going to reveal the bottom screen. Remember, guys, if I forget to remove it, you have to tell me. You can't just fucking sit there like this is for entertainment or something. You need to be watching to make sure I don't do it. This isn't an entertainment live stream. This is a... Like, you're all observers here for a purpose. I have suggested that he remakes the hall, but it doesn't seem like he's done that yet. He's not disconnecting that frequently, to be honest, because I saw that he was dealing with the aftermath of a disconnection when I first joined him. And I've been in his room for, I don't know, about 30 minutes. So, one disconnect every 30 minutes is manageable. It's not great, but by For Ultimate standards, it is definitely manageable. There we go. And that bottom screen can fuck right off, thank you very much. I joined before he could even tell me that he made the room. That's how switched on I am. Nothing gets past me. Now for your sibling. I like using the word sibling. It sounds very, what's the word? Unfeeling? Strangely unspecific? Kingwell asks if we want to post anything. Not really. I don't. Paul, you're welcome to take him up on that offer, if you've got anything you need to do. The Poogie's dancing. Well, we have to watch this. Oh, yes, he was doing that before, actually. What do you think? Do you think he's dancing, or is he trying to sniff something up there? Is he like a cat? You know how cats can see, like, I don't know, weird shit that we can't see, because it's, like, not part of the visible light spectrum or whatever? Well, maybe this Poogie's doing the same, and he's, like, sniffing... Maybe he's sniffing a ghost's asshole or something, I don't know. Do pigs sniff assholes? I don't know. I suspect that if dogs sniff assholes, pigs may very well do so. That's a very interesting switch axe, by the way. I don't think I've seen that before. What is it? Mundus Regius. Well, when I say Regius, that sort of looks like Seregios? I don't know. Oh, we've got a guild quest. Oh dear. Level 127 as well. Just for the record, if you're going to level up a guild quest, it's not usually worth leveling up a quest like that, but I'm happy to do it. But if you have your eyes on, you know, doing level 140 guild quests in the future, I would really recommend that you not put time into that. Elder Dragons and, like, Apex, particularly double Apex level 140s are really what you want to be aiming for, but again, if you still want to do it, I don't mind. Kingwell is now requesting to be sent guild quests. That's not going to be happening, Sonny Jim. We must hold our guild quests abreast. And guard them jealously. Although I have received many from the 3DS days, but you know. I'm pulling up the ladder behind me, ladies and gentlemen. What about your friend? Or sibling? Friend/sibling. Is Anosk coming? Link inquired. I'm using a hammer, which is a moment for the ages. Okay. You wanted to hunt a Gore Magala, so you posted this. That's perfectly reasonable. Apparently we can go without him for now. Maybe he's just washing up, yeah. Also, the Poogie was not trying to reach the flames, AJ. I don't know if that was a serious suggestion or not, but when he was in the corner, in an unreachable position, he was doing the same thing, where he was jumping on his hind legs. Between attempting to reach the flames and sniffing a ghost's asshole, I think I know which theory I prefer. But I wouldn't want to dissuade you from putting forward theories in the future. Ooh, almost knocked my my cup there. See, I would refer to this as a cup, you know, I wouldn't really call that a glass. It is made of glass. But I prefer the word cup for that. Unpopular opinion, for the most part, I don't really like the look of the location of guild quests. There may be exceptions, but there are not many. They are not voluminous in number. Oh. Bloody tremor. So this is actually chaotic Gore Magala. That was not something I was expecting. Anosk has joined. Oh no, Anosk has to miss out. That's what he gets for being on dishwashing duty. Let me just close something. Cool. As soon as you minimize the emulator, things tend to get a little bit hairy. To quote Dragon Quest Swords, of course. Oh, no, I was not affected by tremor, thank God for that. I really need more stamina than this, don't I? He ended up... Because he pulled himself so far back, he actually ended up on the next level. Or raised himself off the ground so far that he actually managed to do that. I haven't hammered a Gore Magala in so long, I really feel like I'm underperforming, and you would be right to make that assessment of me, but I do have to clarify that the last time that I did this was many moons ago. Jesus! Let me do something. Oh. No. it feels like it's been some time since I last hit the fucking head, and it's also been some time since I was last abused in so roundly and completely by a monster like this. What are you doing? Oh, not a fucking okay, I thought that was a disconnect. Because I saw Kingwell become inert at the same time that the monster was stationary, so I was a bit worried about that. How did that... Oh, Jesus, man! This is not boding well. Remember when I said one disconnect every 30 minutes? This is not what's happening here. This is not how things are playing out. You can see them... Oh, yeah. And their instability has also caused Paul to disconnect. This is not great. My advice to you, if you're playing online with people in 4 Ultimate, avoid the people. Like, if you get any sort of indication that someone has less than ideal internet connection, avoid them. I mean, that's probably not very friendly advice to give to people, but just for your own sanity, it might be a good idea to avoid it. Or to avoid such people, because you're never going to get a decent hunt in. You're just never going to get it, and... I mean, these guys, hopefully we can cross our fingers and pray that they won't disconnect again anytime soon, but, you know, it rather compounds the problem when you get not just 1 but 2 people on the same shitty internet connection disconnecting. I mean, fucking hell. Arnosk has, without reservation, posted his own quest after that disconnect, which is fine, okay. We've got the Scathing Shore. I really don't care about doing that Gore Magala again. I didn't even know that was a chaotic Gore Magala, to be honest. I forgot that they didn't... Kingwell... No. Folks, I'm not doing it. Kingwell has just disconnected again. I'm not putting up with it. I wouldn't even do it in my own time. I'm much less inclined to do it while I'm live. I'm not hunting with someone who has that kind of connectivity. I have no reason to subject myself to that, so I'm going to rather unceremoniously remove myself from this room. I'm not even going to say goodbye. I probably should have said goodbye. That was poor form. But, well, no, I'm still in the room. Hold on. It's nothing personal, I'm just not putting up with it. It's as simple as that. That is a room that has a session that I cannot join. I'm now looking for an alternative to what I was in before. That's HR1. I may as well show you what I'm doing. Sure, it can just sit in the middle like that. I'm happy with that. So I attempted to join this room. They're not actually in a session that I can join. Quite frustrating, isn't it? Because if you remember just how much time I spent trying to join those people, for it to have ended up... Oh, someone fucking beat me to it. That's frustrating. That was a full room. And another session that I can't join right now. It puts me in a rather awkward position if I have to start going around asking people to make rooms for me, but here we go. So unfortunately Paul's not going to be able to join me for this one because this is a full session, but fortunately I was able to join these people without having to request for them to make a new room. It's just, I will initially... walk away from a room that has a session that I can't join immediately, and the reason why is because I don't want to have to put myself in a position where I'm communicating with people who A, may not communicate with me at all, and B, may be disinclined to remake the room just for me. So my first choice is to go through all of my options, try to join those sessions, and if there are no options, then I'll go back and start, you know, sitting in rooms awkwardly, trying to communicate and get them to remake rooms and stuff like that. Oh, it's truly an unpleasant experience. Those two brothers have another sibling named Decker. Yeah, Decker is the disconnecting king of Hunsterverse, just to be very clear. I'm going to say hello to these people. We've still got another player who has yet to join, but I suspect that they will join soon. This is a Brazilian room, I think. I would assume that if they're connecting to a Brazilian Citra channel, they are probably themselves Brazilian. And I say that because there are so many other options, so they must be Brazilian. I suppose we're going to get a whole number of KKKs in the chat. That's what I expect. And I'm not referring to white supremacists. I think Peaberry got ahead of me on that one. Yes, that as well, AJ. That as well. Oh, thank God, someone moving around. This has been a very inactive room. Not as inactive as that one that I joined at the start of the live stream, but these guys are definitely pretty cruisy. That is the word that I would use to describe them. Cruisy. So who are we missing? I can see that, yeah, so we're missing a person named Alex. A fun story, the first person that I ever interacted with in Monster Hunter who I perceived to be, you know, a very high-level character, way higher than me, and was just carrying us through hunts, was someone in Monster Hunter Tri named Alex. I don't know why that experience just is in my head. It was someone with an Elatrion hammer who was just completely annihilating everything that we were hunting in early high rank. And, it was the first person, it may have even been in low rank now that I think about it, but it was the first person that I had interacted with in online Monster Hunter who was just incredibly strong. And, yeah. I still remember that hunt, or that series of hunts, to this day. Thank you. Bottom screen is still up. Let us remove that. Always good to ameliorate the situation before we go into the hunt. Out for the count. I'm definitely not going to be using a hammer for this monster. If you want to issue me a challenge, you can try and get me to do it, but I'm not really in the mood today. I really don't know if Alex is going to join. I'm going to ask him. If you want to know something, it's good to ask. Do you know what? I will bring this. I will bring exactly this loadout because... Wait, is this what I want to bring? No. I want to bring this loadout. No, I'm actually not going to do it. I don't know why I'm being so indecisive at the moment. Let's just bring dual blades. I'll get Thunder, so that would be Suzuka Otakemaru, I think. Is that what it's called? Yes. Okay. Peaberry has Hunsterverse set up in Portable Third. I think you mentioned that some time ago, like maybe a month or two ago you mentioned that. How far through the game are you? Because that's pretty fun. Nice idea. I would always recommend playing Hunsterverse if you want to do the PSP Monster Hunter games. There are better options for the 3DS Monster Hunter games. I would avoid the Hunsterverse direct connection server because the connectivity there is quite unstable, which you're going to notice quite keenly when playing this game. But for PSP, do Hunsterverse because it is very anti-cheater. There is infrastructure in place, proper infrastructure, in other words, me, for dealing with cheaters. Not just me, I wouldn't take full credit for it. There's basically a community, there is a culture for dealing with cheaters. People will report them in quite forensic detail. And I will review them and ban accordingly. So it is very, very much recommended that you play PSP Monster Hunter on there. Otherwise, you're going to be playing with a bunch of cheaters. Or, well, a posteriori, I would say that you are going to encounter more cheaters if you're playing on something like... Well, I can't even think of alternatives for PSP Monster Hunter, but if you are playing on alternatives, just the sheer number of people that I ban on Hunsterverse, yeah, you're going to encounter them there. Particularly once they've already been banned from Hunsterverse. That's going to actually push them in the direction of the alternatives, so, yeah. Oh. Am I fighting the wrong one? Because I can see that Regans and Kareel are doing something over there. Maybe, no, they're not engaging a monster, so maybe they're just gathering shit while I'm playing the game for them. Or doing the hunt for them, I don't know. Well, they're here now. Maybe I was getting a little ahead of myself and accusing them of things that they weren't doing. Like leeching on the hunt. One interesting thing that I can say is that leeching is not a common thing in Monster Hunter. It may be a common thing in lots of other games, but, you know, for all of the faults that I can find in the community of Monster Hunter, they are, honestly, it doesn't take much for me to find fault with the Monster Hunter players. But one thing that they never do is just let people do the hunt for them. I very, very rarely see that. I've probably seen that twice in 15 years of playing Monster Hunter. Just someone who intends to sit back and let someone else do the hunting. The circumstances in which a person is going to gather instead of hunt are usually communicated very clearly, and it happens between friends. You know, you're not going to get some random person doing it. And if it does happen, usually there's very little tolerance for that sort of behavior. I believe so, anyway. The last time I saw it was actually someone named Longsword Larry. He was not literally Longsword Larry, but he was named Larry, and he was using a longsword. And I remember he was doing that, and that was in Generations Ultimate, but it's a very infrequent occurrence. You're not going to see it, for the most part. Well, cheating in any game, to be honest, can be difficult to understand, but I understand cheating in Monster Hunter because it's for the same reason people will cheat in other games. They don't want to have to work to achieve something. And honestly, to achieve things in Monster Hunter, there is a lot of work that goes into it, so I do understand cheating, to be honest, in Monster Hunter. Because people probably don't play for the long term like you or I might do. They're just playing for some short-term satisfaction, and for them, cheating is the best way to achieve it. But of course, it negatively impacts other people's experience, particularly if you're someone who is dealing extra damage. Like, I encountered someone in 3 Ultimate, here in the emulated Citra servers, who had given themselves 5,000 defense. To be honest, that is the kind of cheat that I don't understand. Imagine choosing to play a Monster Hunter game and then giving yourself 5,000 defense. And obviously he had a talisman that had 30 points on 2 skills. But yeah, like 5,000 defense. I mean, what is the... Imagine getting satisfaction out of, I don't know, only ever playing low rank with G rank gear. Or playing Village with G rank gear, and you only do that. Like, that's your only experience with the game. You just play low rank village with high rank gear. That's basically what 5,000 defense in G rank is like. It's probably even more stark than that. Like the lack of damage that you're going to take. Because, for example, the difference between, I don't know, 600 defense and 300 defense is quite immense. So you can imagine the difference between 600 defense and 5,000. You're not really going to be taking any damage at all. So, yeah, I don't really get the point, but anyway. People are strange. Oh, that looked like a pretty well-positioned and well-timed flash bomb, but I guess it just wasn't quite in the right spot. Oh, it looked like you just missed your mount opportunity. That's what happens when you get too invested in your combo. Oh, shit. Fucking hell. How annoying is that? I actually couldn't move from my position because I was too busy jumping off things. Now, one thing that's absolutely worth mentioning is that verticality has its benefits and its, things that will detract from the experience. Its benefits and deficits, is that a good way to refer to it? Anyway, the fact is that it may sound infrequent, it may sound like something that's never going to happen, but you will come across so many scenarios in which you have taken a hit from a monster because you were jumping off a crest or off a ledge that you didn't intend to jump off. And, it does happen more frequently than you would expect, so that is one serious downside to it. Something that I was very critical of when 4th gen was new. But it was always it wasn't a criticism in a vacuum, it was always a criticism with the understanding that for the most part 4th gen was a good evolution for the series, but that was always something that frustrated me very much. And also for things like, I don't know, hip-firing spread arrows and, if I'm in this area, for example, and I'm using spread arrows, if I'm hip-firing those, I'm not going to make contact with anything. I'm going to need to aim those, but I don't know. Verticality was a good thing for the series, I think. There were just teething issues for someone like me who had to get used to actually taking hits because of the terrain that previously did not exist. So, yeah. It is what it is. Try and get in position here. We still haven't broken the head, shockingly. We've got a limping Seregios and the horn still isn't broken. That's really strange. I don't know if you'd call that a horn. It's more like a head blade. Head blade is a phrase that most people will never speak in their lives, but I just spoke it. I think it is broken. Never mind. It's normally a little bit bigger. Was it broken before, or I don't know. I could not say for sure. AJ, if he were in charge of development at Monster Hunter, would remove ledges completely and just integrate like a sort of aerial hop into the role for all weapon types. Which, I don't know if I completely agree with that. Because what it does is I would say that that's, like, for integrating mounting and verticality into the game, that's a little bit too deeply integrated, I think. At least with a ledge, it's situational, which feels a little bit better to me. I mean, yeah, you're accidentally jumping off when you don't intend to and you get hit, as I explained before. That would be an example of it being bad, but for the most part, it's very much a good thing, and I think is the most balanced approach. I think effectively having an aerial style baked into the average confrontation, that sounds too gimmicky, too deeply implemented, and on the face of it, I don't agree. But maybe there's a case for it, which I can't see at this stage. "80% of your deaths in 4th and 5th gen are because of ledges." Well, that should incentivize you to just look out for them, you know? I'm in the same boat, to be honest, but I think we just need to get better. I think we just need to, when we're fleeing a monster, just be aware. Well, I suppose even if you're aware of them, if you happen to get into a sticky situation and there's a ledge there's not much you can do, I suppose. Like, an awareness of the ledge may not even help. I'm already disabusing myself of the opinion that I previously held. So, yeah, maybe you do have a point. Ledges might be garbage, but... yeah. Course correction. Hunt a shrouded Nursilla. There's something about Nursilla, almost anything that I use feels ineffective. Is it because of her really thin appendages? Is that why? I just feel like Nursilla doesn't absorb hits in the same way that a big chunky monster would. Does that make sense? I just feel like I'm not that strong against a Nursilla whenever I fight one. It's a strange sensation. It's a strange thought process. But it is a genuine one. I have also forgotten the weakness. I think it's fire, but I'm going to confirm this before I lock in a weapon choice. Obviously, I can just use something that's not elemental, but one thing that you will learn about me is that I am an element file, which is intended to be a very punny thing to say. Oh yeah, what am I doing? I'm checking for Nursilla's weakness, which I believe to be fire, but I will just make sure that I'm not imagining that. It is fire and thunder, so I'll bring the Crimson Fatalis Greatsword. My highest element greatswords are my fire and thunder, so my Crimson Fatalis Greatsword is, as such, fucking 1000 element, with a total of 1497 raw damage at the end of my Honed Blade calculations, and obviously my Power Charm and Power Talon. Don't you ready up, you person. I'm always concerned about people unreservedly readying up when the other person is not ready at all, because it almost invites the scenario of people departing without all players ready. It's you're going to be introduced to an environment of extreme paranoia on the part of myself when it comes to being departed without, but do you know what? It's not actually paranoia, it happens a lot, and I tend to get very frustrated by it, but it's the sort of... you know, when I talked about the community being, I guess, reprehensible in certain ways, that would be one of the main aspects of their reprobate behavior that really gets on my nerves. It's the willingness to just depart without people under circumstances that are just unreasonable. So, for example, if a person's been AFK for 5 minutes, yeah, go for it. But a person who is clearly getting ready for a quest and has only spent like 2 minutes doing so, don't depart without them, come on. But yeah, there's going to be a little bit of that. You will see it in this live series. Oh god. This is Shrouded Nursilla. I really should have checked to see what the weaknesses were for her. She is wrapped in Kezu skin, and as I recall, her elemental weaknesses vary greatly depending on whether she's got the skin on or off. I do have Quick Sheath with this particular greatsword loadout. I haven't been showing you guys my skills. I really should be doing that, particularly for a new live stream series like this. My skills are Hone Blade, Rocksteady, Quick Sheath, and Focus. For me, with a Greatsword, it is absolutely essential to have the ability to resist monster roars. Because opportunity-based weapon types like Greatsword and Hammer can really take advantage of a monster being in place for, 3 to 5 seconds on account of a roar being conducted by the monster. So it just makes sense to have that sort of resistance to roars built into your armor set, if you're using that kind of weapon. In my opinion, it's essential. Other people may approach it differently. Power to them, I suppose. I'll be busy doing damage while they're sitting still, I guess. Managed to get that weapon... Sorry, I managed to get that attack on target, which is good. Yeah, being wrapped in Kezu skin is a bit disgusting, but that is precisely what this monster is. Something that I only learnt recently, actually. That the Shrouded Nacilla is shrouded in Kezu's skin. What... I mean, obviously, the visual reality of that is a bit confronting. So this Nacilla has basically picked apart a Kezu, skinned it, and has then stretched that skin over its body. I mean, it's, yeah, quite vile, I agree. I feel like I'm not performing very well with this Greatsword against this monster. Oh, that's also a good indication of poor performance, not even paying attention to where the exits are. I'm just settling for low charge levels at the moment, so that I can at least be making contact with the monster as opposed to not making contact. That is the dance of Greatsword. It is compromising on damage, with the understanding that if you don't make that compromise, you may just deal nothing whatsoever. So, choosing the time investment is essential to Greatsword. Or choosing correctly is essential. Good opportunity. Unfortunately, my attack hit the claw instead of the face, which is not really what I was going for, needless to say. Ooh. Wasn't expecting you to dig immediately. Still got purple sharpness. Really good sharpness, this Greatsword. Provided you have sharpness +1, of course. Nice chunk of purple. Obviously, you get a lot of mileage out of your sharpness levels with a Greatsword because it hits fairly infrequently compared to other weapon types, so a chunk of purple like that will go a long way. Again, my big wide final slash hitting something that is not the weak point, but fine. I can't really control the arc of the attack, can I? Not like that. Why I dived there, I really can't explain it. Maybe it's the result of some kind of intense fear of the monster, I don't know. Even though it was that far away from me, I felt like I was being threatened. That paralysis is just... It's really uncompromising, isn't it? It happens instantly if you're in the wrong position. It's just one of those attacks where you can't possibly see it coming. if your positioning is poor. And when I say poor, I don't mean as a consequence of bad strategy, I just mean you happen to be in a bad spot, like wrong place at the wrong time, you know. Arachnophobia has led to me diving. You do realise I live in Australia, right? Arachnophobia is not a thing in this country. And if it is, good luck to those people. It really grosses me out that it twitches. Any monster that twitches when it's dead, come on, like... Capcom actually animated that shit. Ugh, even the abdomen sways slightly. That's just... I'm sorry, but that's... Ugh. I can really live without that. Like, I can pass on that, you know? I really can pass on that. Well, I wouldn't say that I've seen a gold-crowned spider in Monster Hunter terms in real life. If I had done, I rather suspect you'd be seeing a lot of documentaries on Australia, and basically a complete drying up of tourism. Just, well, you'd still get some tourism, but from, I don't know, people who live in the jungle and want a new challenge? I don't know. Survival enthusiasts would be the phrase. Alright. Common elemental weakness in this case would be thunder. Oh, I got someone's guild card. I'm not really interested in your guild card, but I'm happy to send you mine. I just don't have many slots. I mean, I can take guild cards. My policy is to only accept a guild card from someone that I'm hunting with a lot. And these people fit that criterion, but still, I don't have many slots available, so I'm going to save it for someone special, you know. You're someone special. So adorable. Lance, I guess. It's been a while since I whipped out my lance on camera. Is this for real? I don't have a thunder lance. Oh my god. Obviously you can see I'm trying to upgrade this thing, but it requires that I hunt Kirin, which obviously is a barrier to entry, to put it in simple terms. Let's just do that. We'll go Awaken Lance with... This thing just seems too big, doesn't it? It just suddenly had a massive lance in your face. It just happened. Okay, I'll bring this, you know. My bright turquoise lance. It's not quite turquoise. It's too green for that. What would that be? Is cyan greener than turquoise? No, I think turquoise is greener, isn't it? There is one colour that's niggling in the back of my mind. It's not azure. It's... I think it starts with T. And it's not turquoise, just to be really clear. It's, teal. Teal. I think it's teal. Just to be really clear, I'm not that knowledgeable on colours. I have encountered people who are knowledgeable on colours, and happy to say that I fall short of their learned experience. Oh, you came up with it as well, AG. See, because you fucking came up with it, it makes it look like I may have read it from your chat. No. I came up with it on my own, thank you very much, sir. In fact, that's the last time I request contributions from you, sir, because now you're just, you're devaluing my own, I don't know, intellectual abilities. Anyway, we've got a poison weapon. I'm not that happy with the poison value of this lance, actually. It's like 260, I think. But it's a high raw lance, so it's better to be considered as bonus damage than the main damage. Why are you inspecting me so... in such an intimidating fashion? I'm actually mainly intimidated by this person's chest piece. But, yeah. Yeah, let's go Regans. What is it about Regans that sounds funny? Like, reminds me of, like what, Mullins? Mullins from U2? He was from U2, wasn't he? Mullins. Just a funny name. Regans. What am I doing? Tigrex. He's over this way. I'm going on a date with Tigrex. Gonna stay out of range of that, and then do a mounting attack. Unfortunately, I only have guard up with this particular loadout. I do not have guard +2, which means that my counters have been neutered. But that's alright. Not everything about a lance is the counters. Yeah, 260. Hold on, no, 290. So, thanks to Enlightened Blade, which is Awaken plus a boost. Jesus. It's like the fucking apocalypse next door. Anyway, that basically blew away my train of thought. Yeah, so Enlightened Blade is Awaken and a boost to both element and status. It's quite a good skill. It comes stock with the EX Crimson Fatalis loadout. But, oh, sorry, the GX Crimson Fatalis loadout. There is some construction work going on next door, but that's excessive. That's like dropping very large and very heavy aluminium objects from a height. With little to no, no consideration for the fact that I might be doing a live stream. And it needs to stop straight away. Because, that's ridiculous. Hossein is now sending a wave file in the chat. Maybe it's like a very well-known sound effect, I don't know. I think we briefly had Azure Rathlos in the area. I don't know if he saw Tigrex and ran off, or if someone dung-bombed him. I was singularly distracted by large aluminium objects being dropped on the ground from a height. Okay? Something which doesn't usually make for good live streaming, but provided it's infrequent, it can offer some mild entertainment and minimal disruption. Although I was fairly disrupted in that. Oh, sorry guys, I can see that you've got a trap there, but I must remain in place because there's a monster roaring on me. Quite literally on me. Oh. Of course, the Lance experience can be summarized with the following phrase. Falling onto your hands and knees. That is basically the Lance experience while playing in multiplayer. And obviously, if you're in the presence of a Charge Blade user in axe mode, with that thing fucking swinging around like a helicopter rotor, it's, yeah. It is to be expected that you will end up on your hands and knees if you're using a lance. That was a pretty clean counter, despite not having any guard skills. Oh, I need to click on the screen to do my special attack. That was some human being, some actual individual came up with the idea that instead of pressing a button, you tap on the fucking screen. I don't know. You need to take me on a journey to justify that, quite frankly. Tap on the screen to do something. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, I get it. It was on the 3DS, but that was already a mistake. You only worsened the arrangement by making me tap on the fucking screen to do a lance charge, you know? Like, if it's to kick, sure. Because when am I going to kick things? You know, it's not Dark Souls. I'm not going to kick an enemy to break their guard or something like that. I'm going to kick, what, as a joke? I don't mind having that be something you tap on the screen for, but if you're making me tap on the screen, and obviously by extension, if I'm emulating, I have to go and grab my mouse, move my cursor, and then click on some shit on the screen. If you're making me do that to charge forward with my lance, quite frankly, you could sling your hook and fuck off. I cannot imagine that. I do not have Psycho Serums in this game, as a rule. Not because I choose not to bring them, but because I just don't have them. So I don't know where Azure Rathalos is. He could almost literally be anywhere. So I'm now going to run around the map aimlessly. Apparently it's Try's fault for adding the lance swipe. Well, yeah. I quite like it though. I mean, I never use it, this is true, but yeah, I never use the lance swipe. Why do you think they did that? Yeah, you are right. It was originally triangle and circle to do a lance charge, so now it's a swipe, but... Like, to be honest, I always recognized that that was an option as an attack, beginning with try, but I've never had a situation where I felt that it was helpful or necessary to use it. It's a bit strange, but anyway. Apparently you can charge up the big slap attack in 5th gen, which is extraordinary, actually. I definitely went... No, I didn't go the long way. I would have had to pass through 2 areas to get here anyway, so... at any rate, we're finally here with the monster, and I'm having to find a particular special spot to actually jump. Not jump, sorry, climb. Slightly annoying, but anyway. Come on, Riggins. You can do it, mate. Oh my god, this is a really aggressive Azure Rathalos. He did not want that hunter on his back. Gives a whole new meaning to monkey on your back. It's a rather more evolved primate than that. Even by human standards. Oh, no. I don't think humans are primates, are they? I think we've evolved beyond that classification, but I do reserve the right to be completely wrong. Because I think, is Homo sapien the equivalent classification to primate? I don't think so. I think primate's a little more general than that, whereas Homo sapien is extremely specific. I seem to recall that there's a song where, like, the chorus says Homo sapien, and quite frankly, the the insistence with which the vocalist says the word homo, it just makes me think that this guy just wanted an excuse to have a hit song where he can go homo into the microphone. In fact, this guy just wanted an excuse to professionally stand in front of a microphone in a studio and go homo. And that's the only reason why he was saying Homo sapien in the song. But that's very much an aside. I have digressed rather violently. But, yes, Je suis monté. I believe that's the correct pronunciation. It's always important that we honor the French by using this phrase. Very much had its origins in this very game. Unsurprisingly, because this was the first game where you would have the mounting option, but there were lots of French players in this game. Possibly the first occasion where the US players were forced to play with the French. And I do use the word forced advisedly. But, oh, where on earth are you going? Is this first gen or what? An indecisive Rathalos. Wait, no, 3 Ultimate would have included the US and the French together, so no, it was not the first game. They had forewarning. We'll phrase it in those terms. No, I like the French. It's just they play Monster. They're rather eccentric when it comes to how they play Monster. That's all I'll say. Oh. Whoa. That looked extremely adroit. Did you see that? It looked as if I intended for that to look as good as it did. I can assure you that that was a mistake. Well, having it look cool was a mistake. Oh, there goes Regan's. That was just absolutely phenomenal. I don't even think that was me. In fact, I'm almost certain that I wasn't the one who flinched the monster, but it looked like I did. So, in terms of optics, that fucking looked cool. That was, like, a cool moment. That has received the cool seal of approval. No, you don't. I'm headlocking your ass right here. Well, no, that doesn't quite make sense, does it? You can't headlock an ass. Unless the head is in the ass, which is certainly possible. Hopefully not with a monster, maybe with a fine female, but I don't know about a big blue dragon. Sorry, this is a very down market topic of conversation. If you see one of these dripping honey nodes, do yourself a favor and gather from it, because you get... It's a lot of banging. That was someone... I think that was my next door neighbor absolutely annihilating their door hinge. Yeah. In other words, slamming their door very loudly. I would need, like, my full body strength. And, you know, my full arm strength in order to produce a slamming sound that loud with my door. But anyway, yes, Blue Rat, sorry. I should have called him Blue Rat. There is a story associated with Rat. But, I don't really feel like telling the story. Not this time. Is it hard to get a good relic like that? Asks Zabba. I don't really Well, look, it does have Edge Master 5, but you can see I've got 15 points in Honeblade, so I'm not reliant upon it. It's I'm going to say no. I may actually check to see if it can be upgraded in any way. I believe it can. Like, he's saying that it's good, and he hasn't even seen it upgraded. This is the hilarious thing. The only reason why I can't upgrade it is because I don't have the resource points for it. I'm basically resource point poor, and it shouldn't be considered a surprise because I almost never play online. But you can see I can actually considerably increase the damage of this lance. So it is actually a very good lance, and very much a raw focused lance, but I have yet to fully realize its potential. Which is frustrating, but there you have it. I'll do one more hunt, and then I will conclude things for today. I'm definitely winning. We have yet to fail a hunt during this live stream. So in summary, yes, we are winning. That's interesting. How did he know that it was 5 Honeblade? Can you check someone's... Oh, you can actually check someone's skill points in this game. Okay. As far as... Well, no, I wouldn't even say that getting 5 Honeblade on a... Well, in other words, a triple decoration Edgemaster on your relic. I wouldn't say that's too unusual, because I get them pretty frequently. Or I have picked them up numerous times, anyway. Oh, a fucking capture quest to finish us off? That's like getting to the climax and she vomits on your cock. Seriously. Sorry, that was a bit unseemly. But seriously, like, a capture quest is going to be the crescendo. The coup de grace. Anyway. What is going to make this tolerable? Yes, yes. Peaberry is going to get very excited when he sees this. Yeah. Okay, what weapon though? Honestly, the sound you're making, what is your name? Franz. The sound you are making is intolerable. It sounds like a... It actually sounds like fapping noises. It's terrible. I can't take it. I feel like I've got a neat roommate. And I don't mean N-E-A-T. Anyway. What am I going to use? Let's just keep with this longsword. I don't care. I've decided that I don't care anymore. There was never a failed hunt in this channel. Well, certainly not under this name. You're correct about that. Interestingly enough. God, when is our first failed hunt going to come? And abandons don't count because... Well, particularly because of the frequency with which disconnects occur in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I'm sorry, but this is absolutely adorable. Look at this Grim Reaper Palico. Oh my god, sorry. Did I just say Palico? Did those words just escape my lips? Excuse me. This feline with the Gore Magala armor set, I would assume. That is just... That is most endearing. I want it now. I mean, my pirate, my 18th century privateer cat is becoming slightly less, what's the word? Remarkable? In contrast to a Grim Reaper feline. Hossein wants to hug that cat. Yeah, no, I have encountered that. King Dweeb 1. Excellent name, by the way. I particularly like that you added the 1 to the name, because that's such a... Like, as a name, that's in really high demand, that name. So just as well you put that number in there. King Dweeb. Well, one would assume so, P-Berry. No, are they called palicos in 4th gen? Even if they are, I'm not using that term. There's something... I mean, obviously it's snobbery. Let's call it what it is, but I don't like using the term palico. It's gross. I don't... No, so what you're thinking of, AJ, is... No, I think it was Generations that first did palicos. I'm pretty certain about that. I could be awfully wrong, which is fine. Oh, that is hilarious. I needed another syllable because people were saying King D Weeb when I didn't have the number. Oh my god. I'm currently being pinned by a Celtus. In other news, that's hilarious. Oh my god. King D Weeb. Have they never encountered the word dweeb before? I mean, it's a very American phrase, or word I should say, but god, King Dweeb. Well, there you have it. Apparently the additional syllable helps. I can assure you that if you didn't have a 1 there, it wouldn't have confused me. I wouldn't have been referring to you as a weeaboo or anything like that, but... there you have it. Honestly, it's just as well that this is the last hunt of the day, because I've now got an angle grinder in the background. It's quite distant, so you probably can't hear it, but just in case you can, I'm glad that, well, at the very least, they've held off on their construction work until after my live stream. Ooh. There is paralysis on this longsword, it's just not very much. Most of the effectiveness of this longsword comes from the very high roar that it possesses. I actually didn't end up mentioning this explicitly, and I apologize for failing to do so, but this is a Capture Guru loadout. It's not just Capture Guru, it's basically Capture God. It's got a lot of things going on. It's got Miraculous Luck, Capture Guru, and Capture Expert, which for capture enthusiasts is probably enough to give you a wet dream for the next 2 weeks. You can thank me later. Ow. I'm sorry, I still can't get over that D-weeb business. That's quite funny. Anyway. I feel like the people who would call you D-weeb would not suddenly see the word dweeb if you added a 1. I feel like these are people who are so unfamiliar with the word dweeb that they just see the word weeb, right? I don't think a 1 helps. Maybe it does. Maybe in your experience it does help, and I will defer to your experience if indeed that is what you have deduced. But seriously, that's quite funny. That's really funny. I'm not a fucking living testament. We just explained, or rather I just explained, that I'm entirely familiar with the word dweeb. I would not... I actually said to you, very explicitly, that without the 1, I wouldn't have struggled to read what your name was, but that's fine. You continue to hold me in the same regard as you would people who don't know what the word dweeb is. You are... Quite frankly, it is your prerogative to be that misguided in your opinions, but, I mean, good God. Anyway. In other news, I should be watching for the capture, because I haven't been doing that. I'm happy to confess I've not been watching for the capture. I mean, I was initially, but for the last 2 minutes I've not been looking. Just as well I remembered. Otherwise, we may have finished with our first failed capture. Or rather, first failed quest of the new livestream series. Oh, here we go. Do I have a message to send? Chat. I've got a lot of very intemperate messages here. Capture, please. Here we go. Someone's already put down a trap. This is the best thing about Capture Guru. You don't have to wait for the limp. You can just get the monster in the damn trap. And good night. It may not be, well, actually, I'm going to get off that subject. I think we've talked about the word dweeb far too much. There's been this person who has so desperately tried to join this room. Their name is Monster Hunter. I'm sure they sat down for quite a while to come up with that name. But they have disconnected 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 times. Since we started this quest. So, I mean, good luck. If you can get a successful hunt out of this guy, you're doing very well. That's what I would say. Hunter rank 696. I do like the look of that. 696, don't you think? You know, between 666 and 999, this would be your third best option for repeating numbers. It looks kind of cool. But anyway, that's this live stream concluded. I do thank you all for joining, and I will see you next time I'm recording Monster Hunter. And, yeah, it may be Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, it may be a different game. Depends on my mood, I suppose. But thank you for joining me on the adventure. And, I'll bid you farewell for now. Cheers, everyone.